Good morning, my dear students, and welcome back to the English online classes. I forgot to tell you people something in yesterday's video, and today one of our students made me realize it that I forgot about it. Actually, this lesson is not included in your syllabus. As such, other chapters are also deleted from your syllabus, like Going Places, Poet and Pancakes, The Interview, The Tiger King, Memories of the Childhood. These all chapters and the poem Roadside Stand. But this chapter, Journey to the End of the Earth, you know why I took this chapter? If you remember, in my previous video of this chapter, I have said that this is very important for us to learn that what is going around and what could be the future of planet Earth. And when I talk about the perishing or the future, the dangerous situation in which planet Earth is, I'm talking about us. And I felt that it's a beautiful chapter which must not be skipped. And as students and as humans, you must know about it. So because of that reason, I have taken this chapter. So questions will not be coming in the board examination or any of the tests which will be conducted by the school. But just for your knowledge sake, just 2 videos it is going to take, and it's not going to take much time of yours. Please pay attention. I think everyone must read this lesson. When it was not there previously, I also have not taught anyone. I never felt that it is that very important, but after teaching once, I felt that it's really important, at least in comparison to the other chapters. Every chapter renders message, but this chapter is an eye-opener. It tells us what could be the future or what could be the possibility of existence or what are our duties. I hope you remember the alien planet. Yeah, it's not exactly like that, but somewhat it tells the same thing. So I hope you don't mind taking this lesson, because as such also not many more chapters and poems are left, and I'll be able to complete off with your cooperation. So please pay little attention. Let me complete this chapter. Just the 2 videos, that's all. I'm not going to take much time. So let me continue. Now, in this, I have already told you about the narrator setting out for a sea voyage to reach to a region, the coldest region, the coldest continent, a dweep, a coldest continent, that is Antarctica. And also I told you what is the meaning of the title, Journey to the End of the Earth. End of the Earth here means Antarctica, which is at the bottom of the world, and world map I mean to say. Bottom, it's at the bottom, and as well as end of the earth means most probably it tells us about how maybe the earth will perish or what circumstances will be there in which earth will be perishing. We all know about the melting of the ice glaciers. We all know about the seasons and how the seasons are not in a proper cycle, how the pandemics are attacking us. So there are a lot of things to think over. So in this we have seen, excuse me, in this we have seen that the narrator says that he set out on his journey in a Russian ship, and he has to cover somewhat 9 time zones, then 6 checkpoints, and then 3 water bodies, and nearly same number of ecosystems. And he has done the journey of around some 100 hours, and he felt very glad when he stepped or he put his foot down on the wide, enormous white landmass of Antarctica. And he started thinking and wondering that how it could have been that years ago India and Antarctica were a piece of the same landmass. And then we stepped back into the past where some 650 million years ago we came to know that there was a supercontinent named as Gondwana, and that Gondwana is somewhere in that place where the central part of Antarctica is right now. And then we came to know that everything was going on smoothly for 500 million years on this supercontinent Gondwana, which was very warm. It was not like how the cold Antarctica is in the present right now, and everything was very smooth. Flora was there, fauna was there, till the coming up of the humans. Actually, the story started, or you can say that actually the things started getting worsen up when the dinosaurs became extinct and the mammals came into existence. And then the separation of the land of those land masses into countries began. And then it has been said that basically if you grasp the past history of Antarctica, you will come to know that there are so many things which just boggles the mind, means which just tells us that it is very hard to believe that in million of years so many things have happened, in so many changes have taken place, and it's very difficult to understand that how India got pushed, and because of that pushing Himalaya got formed, and then how South America and North America joined together, they created a cold passage of water, and then how this continent Antarctica came into existence with no living beings, no sign of life, and moved to the bottom of the world. Then the narrator says that it was really a hard time living in that place, which consisted of the 90% of the total ice on the earth. And he says that it was really difficult because there was no sign of any life, no trees, no buildings, no billboard, which generally we people are used to in our life. And then but he happens to see a variety, means from micro to mega size, like insects to blue whales. And then icebergs were there, very beautiful. That line is that icebergs literally the size of a country, like Belgium is the one which has been recorded over there. And then he says that the days go on and on in a serial, this 24 hours, and then sometimes this total silence is interrupted by occasional avalanches or ice sheets breaking. And he says that this breaking of ice sheets or avalanches, if you just place yourself over there, you will understand the future of human is not that very good. So let's see the human impact now. Human civilizations have been around for a paltry 12,000 years, barely a few seconds on the geological clock. In that short amount of time, we have managed to create quite a ruckus, etching our dominance over nature with our villages, towns, cities, megacities. The rapid increase of human population has left us battling with other species for limited resources. And the unmitigated burning of the fossil fuels has now created a blanket of carbon dioxide around the world, which is slowly but surely increasing the average global temperature. Oh, wow, wow, wow. This is what the humans have done. The impact of humans seems to be very great, very influential, but the influence is not that very good. It has been said that human civilization have just taken a period, paltry means a period, a time period of 12,000 years, which if you see in the geological clock, it is just a few seconds. But in that short period of time, according to the geological time period, not Indians, the humans, they have managed to create, or they have managed to create a ruckus. Ruckus means commotion, Baghdad type. And etching means produced, or they proved their dominance over nature. How? By creating villages, cities, mega cities, buildings, towns, etc. etc. The human population, when they increased, automatically it has affected the existence of many other species. And then it has been said that the unmitigated, means increased burning of the fossil fuels, you all know what has happened. Because of this, a layer of carbon dioxide is formed, and that is definitely affecting the temperature and the global temperature, you know how it is getting affected and what is the impact of that on we humans. Climate change is one of the most hotly contested environmental debates of our time. Will the West Antarctica ice sheet melt entirely? Will the Gulf Stream ocean current be disrupted? Will it be the end of the world as we know it? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, Antarctica is a crucial element in this debate, not just because it's the only place in the world which has never sustained a human population and therefore remains relatively pristine in this respect, but more importantly, because it holds on its ice cores half million year old carbon records trapped in its layers of ice. If we want to study and examine the Earth's past, present, and future, Antarctica is the place to go. Okay, you might have appeared in debate competitions and all. And you all know that environmental pollution, global warming, and climatic changes, etc., are very hot topics. Means they are the most used or they are the most debated topics. And there are many things in which it's raised up. It's like whether the ice sheets are melting up, whether the ocean currents are getting disrupted, whether the world will come to an end, and there are maybe and there can be maybe and may not be. Either way it can be. And in this, Antarctica is definitely one of the topic to talk about. Not because the narrator says that it is not a topic to talk because there is no human civilization over there, and because of that reason it is pristine in the sense that it's much more safer. It is way out from what Earth is suffering from. And the most important thing it must be spoken of is that it's ice, millions of ice, years old, is holding a lot of carbon inside it. And if the ice melts, you can understand what will happen to the climate. And because of that reason, the narrator says that if you want to understand Earth and its past, present, and future, Antarctica is the place. You must learn about it. Then, further, it has been said Students on Ice, the program I was working with on the Scholastic, aims to do exactly this by taking high school students to the ends of the world, providing them with inspiring educational opportunities which will help them foster a new understanding and respect for our planet. It's been in operation for 6 years now, headed by Canadian Geoff Green, who got tired of catering celebrities and retired rich curiosity seekers who could only give back in a limited way. With Students on Ice, he offers the future generation of policymakers a life changing experience at an age when they are ready to absorb, learn, and most importantly, act. You know, this paragraph suits you people. I know maybe you are not getting those opportunities like how it's been mentioned over here. I told you that the narrator has gone on a Russian ship. Actually, he's a student, and as a student, he has gone on a program named as Students on Ice. That's why he was working on this program, and that's the reason why he was on that vessel. And the aim of this program was to take the high school students to the ends of the world, means at the different corners of the world, and give them the opportunity or to inspire or instill in them the environmental needs through education. And this will help them to understand and also respect the planet. Actually, this program started, or this operation started some 6 years ago by a Canadian named as Mr. Green. This Mr. Green, he was into the catering of celebrities, means he used to help the celebrities, and then those retired rich people from whom he cannot get anything except they cannot give back anything because they are retired, they are rich, and they are least bothered, and they have very limited way. Whereas when it talks about the Students on Ice, Mr. Green decided that instead of thinking about these celebrities and those retired people, I should focus more on the young ones. And Why this? Because the young ones are in one particular age when they can grasp, they can absorb the things, they can learn, and very important, after learning they can act upon it. That is the reason, he said. See, now when in the next para, you can think of it. Now when I'm sitting down and explaining to you people, or when you're sitting down listening to me, it is just simply I'm teaching and you're learning. But if I'll make you stand at that particular corner or end of the world, that is Antarctica, and in front of you, you will see the huge ice sheets melting away or the glaciers melting away, you will understand what is the possibility and where the earth can end up us. Where it can end us. So this is what he thought of. He thought that the young minds must be given a clear picture instead of those who cannot give back anything when spoken about these topics. The reason the program has been so successful is because it's impossible to go anywhere near the South Pole and not be affected by it. It's easy to be blase about polar ice caps melting while sitting in the comfort zone of our respective latitude and longitude. But when you can visibly see glaciers retreating and ice shelves collapsing, you began to realize that the threat of global warming is very real. Yeah, that's what I said right now. Now sitting down over here or standing on the dais or standing over there on the stage, we can give long speeches. We can debate a lot on global warming. We can debate a lot about the human duties towards how to save it. And we can talk a lot about the ice melting at the South Pole, etc. But we are all in a place from where we cannot visualize it. It's only everything that we people might have seen on a screen, or we people might have heard through our ears. Somewhere we have read about it, some journals, some articles. But you just imagine, if you see with your own eyes, that's what I said right now. If you see with your own eyes, front of your eyes, one big sheet of ice breaking off, and then it melts away just in a second, then you will understand that what is the condition, what is the threat actually we people are facing. Then you will realize what actually global warming's impact can be, how dangerous it can be, how worst it can be. So this is what the narrator says. Then further, Antarctica, because of her simple ecosystem and lack of biodiversity, is the perfect place to study how little changes in the environment can have big repercussions. Take the microscopic phytoplankton, those grasses of the sea that nourish and sustain the entire Southern Ocean's food chain. These single cell plants use the sun's energy to assimilate carbon and synthesize organic compounds in that wondrous and most important of processes called photosynthesis. Scientists warn that a further depletion in the ozone layer will affect the activities of phytoplankton, which in turn will affect the lives of all the marine animals and birds of the region and the global carbon cycle. In the parable of phytoplankton, there is a great metaphor for existence. Take care of the small things and the big things will fall into place. Beautiful line, my dear students. Keep a check on this last line, which I just read out. Take care of the small things and the big things will fall into place. Let me explain to you what does it mean. Let's go back to that starting paragraph. It has been said that Antarctica is having a very simple ecosystem. No biodiversity. No? So because of that reason, it's a perfect place to study that how a small little change can have big consequences, repercussions, big consequences. For example, it has been said, if a phytoplankton is taken, it's a microscopic, single-celled thing, and they are the grasses which are found in the sea. And you know what is this green grasses are doing? Actually, they are a very important part of the Southern Ocean food chain. And they, as it has been said, single cell plants they are, and they use the sun's energy, and then they they catch the carbon, and then they synthesize the organic compounds, and then they use the photosynthetic process to prepare the food and all. What the scientists are saying, that if the ozone layer keep on depleting, you all know ozone layer is depleting. Global warming you have heard of. And if this happens, or if this prolongs, or if this continues, the phytoplankton's activities will be affected. And the result will be what? It will hamper, it will be tempering with the food chain. And when the food chain is affected, means a lot of living beings will be affected. And phytoplanktons, when they are affected, the marine animals and birds of that region will be highly affected. And then global carbon cycle. So actually, when I said this parable of phytoplankton, parable means the short story of phytoplankton, there is one great metaphor, there is one great message regarding the existence. Now coming to that line which I said, you start with the small things, look after the small things, and automatically the big things will happen smoothly. Big things will happen smoothly. Like say for example, in your surrounding, if it's too hot, do nothing. Just plant some saplings around. Just plant some saplings around. Small saplings. When they start growing up, the heat will start subsiding. The big thing, that is the heat, the temperature will be controlled. So the thing is that we have to start looking after smaller things. Look after the smaller things. छोटी छोटी चीज़ों का ख्याल रखो तो बड़ी बड़ी चीज़ें अपने आप अच्छे से हो जाएगी. That's what it means. Coming to the concluding paragraph of this. Walk on the ocean. My Antarctic experience was full of such epiphanies, but the best occurred just short of the Antarctic Circle at 65.55 degrees south. The Skoleski had managed to wedge herself into a thick white stretch of ice between the peninsula and Tadpole Island, which was preventing us from going any further. The captain decided we are going to turn around and head back north. But before we did, we were all instructed to climb down the gangplank and walk on the ocean. So there we were, all 52 of us, kitted out in Gore-Tex and glares, walking on a stark whiteness that seemed to spread out forever. Underneath our feet was a meter-thick ice pack, and underneath that, 180 meters of living, breathing, salt water. In the periphery, crab-eater seals were stretching and sunning themselves on ice floes, much like stray dogs will do under the shade of a banyan tree. It was nothing short of revelation. Everything does indeed connect. Now, the narrator says that every experience of his were full of discoveries, epiphanies. And the best one was when they were about the Antarctic Circle, some 65.55 degrees south. Actually, the Soleski had managed to wedge, means it was just not exactly stuck, but it got there between a thick white stretch of ice, and that was a place between Peninsula and Tadpole Island, and it was preventing them from going further. So the captain, he decided that they will turn around and they will head towards the north. But before that, the students who were there in that vessel, they were given an instruction to get down, and they were asked to climb down the gangplank. Gangplank means a temporary footbridge, and means for walking, and to walk on the ocean. Oh, you just imagine. If anyone has done ice skating, they might be knowing about it. Like, we cannot think of walking on an ocean, no? But here we are walking on an ocean. A big stretch of white land, Iceland, total. And the ice seems to be, they were all 52 in number, and they all got down and they started walking. You just imagine, under their feet, somewhat a meter thick ice was there, and under that a meter thick ice, somewhat 180 meters till down, water, sea water, and things which were there in the seawater, the aquatic things, living, breathing, under the feet. They were walking above it. And then on the periphery, means at the beach side, means at the end of that place, the seals were sitting down. You know the seals, no? Yeah, this with the mustache type. Yeah, they are the sea dogs. And they were sitting down over there, like how the stray dogs over here, they sit down, enjoying the sun. And then it was like everything seems to be very connected, and everything looks like very a lot of things were revealed to those students. 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 bodies of water, and many ecospheres later, I was still wondering about the beauty of balance in play on our planet. How would it be if Antarctica were to become the warm place that it once used to be? Will we be around to see it? Or would we have gone the way of the dinosaurs, mammoths, and woolly lions? Who's to say? But after spending 2 weeks with a bunch of teenagers who still have the idealism to save the world, all I can say is that a lot can happen in a millennia, but what a difference a day makes. The narrator says that he recalls again that how he had done this journey of 9 time zones, 6 checkposts, and then checkpoints, and then 3 bodies of water, and then many ecospheres. He was still recalling the balance that is very necessary a part in our planet, and then how it would be if Antarctica again becomes warm. But if Antarctica turns warm, whether we people will be there to see that, or we too will be walking on the path of dinosaurs, mammoths, and hairy, woolly rounds. You know what are these? They are extinct species. So now you can understand what the narrator said. But who can say anything about it? But he says that after he had spent the 2 weeks with the energetic, enthusiastic students, the teenagers, one thing he understood, that they still have time to save the world. A lot can, yes, definitely, a lot can happen in million years, but a day also can make a big change. हजारों लाखों सालों में बहुत सारी चीज़ें हो सकती हैं, पर एक दिन में भी बहुत बदलाव हो सकता है. That's what the narrator meant. And that is what very necessary for every one of us to remember, that it is high time that we people may change our views, our lookouts, our approaches, if we don't want to walk on the way how the dinosaurs, mammoths, etc. became extinct. Let us not see all those things. Let us just work and remember that everything is connected in this planet Earth. So look after everything and it will look after us. So I hope this lesson was an interesting one and something that is necessary for you to know. After this, I'll be moving on to the one which is there in your syllabus, and I'm not going to catch up any of the chapters which are deleted further in your syllabus. So till I catch up for the next video with you, take care and goodbye.